All right, today's lesson is going to cover Fortunate Son by CCR. A few things to note before we get going. The one-fingered version is really easy. There's only 3 chords in this song. The multi-finger version is also easy, and there's a variety of ways you could approach it. I'll throw a couple out there. But to help you with that, there's a free chord cheat sheet on the website. There's also a complete 20-page one that gets free updates. That one's paid. It's on the website. Grabbing either of those things is really great for me. Also, subscribe to this channel if you like this video. Now, the other thing I wanted to let you know is that this song I'm going to take up a notch in terms of difficulty because I'm going to show you the chords, which is what I usually do, but there's also that really iconic opening riff, which I want to show to you. I'll do that at the end so that you can get the chords, you can sing along, you can play with it, etc. But then we're going to jump into the riff to kind of give you a little extra something to go with. Okay, first things first, how do we play this song? Before we get rolling, a word about the song structure and chords. The whole song only has 3 chords in it. The original recording sounds like it's in G, but it's not. It's actually in the key of C, which means that if you tune down a whole step on most instruments, which are D-tuned, you tune down a whole step from D to C, you could play along with the recording. It's a little out of tune. It's not actually in like standard tuning, but it'll work. So play along with them. That's great. Now, the 3 chords that we're talking about today are the 1, 4, and 5 chords, which in the key of D are D, G, and A. However, the progression goes A, G, D, over and over again. That's all it is. Now the intro is just on the A chord. That's all that it is. And then when it gets into the verses, some folks are born, it would go like this. And now I'm going to play the one-finger version. I'm not even going to hardly play. I'm just going to tell you, bar at the 4th fret and then the 3rd fret and then open. Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they run. And that's it, over and over again, okay? So that's it, 1-finger version, done. Let's get into the multi-finger version. There's a couple of options. Again, check back on the site for those chord guides. I think I would play it like this. This is one of my favorite shapes. Boom, boom, boom. Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Play the D like that. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue. And when the band plays hail to the chief, ooh, they point the cannon at you, y'all. Same progression, same progression. Oh, da 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 da. Okay, that's all you need. Now you could play the chords right here. So barring here, pinky there, you could play like that. Bum 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 bum. I think that doesn't really sound as good because it's such a high chord. I think this one sounds a little better. You could also play it like that, but that's a little bit more tricky. Bum 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 bum. All right, so mess around with that, see what you think. Let's get into the really fun part, which is the opening riff. So that opening riff on the song that everyone knows is doom doom kaka doom doom kaka doom doom kaka doom doom browning 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 browning. Now that is that's a really great riff. However, it's not all in the same key. Because the song is playing over top of one chord, it's just playing over top of the G chord on the recording. Because it's just playing over top of that one chord, they can kind of get away with having a neat little riff that isn't necessarily in the key. So what I've done here is modify it so that you can feel kind of like you're playing along, gives you a little bit of interest while you're playing, something more than just singing and hitting chords, okay? So the way that it's going to look is... I'm going to break that down. A few things to note. You're going to need to slide in order for it to sound like the recording, and I'm going to play with my middle finger on the middle string the whole time because that way I don't have to move my fingers around a lot. It might be awkward for some of you. You're welcome to, once you learn the fingering, change it up, figure out what works for you, but I'm going to play it with middle finger here, and that means that on the first notes it's going to be start here and slide up one. And I'm most likely going to play with the right hand down up, right? So, and then the second phrase, second piece of it is going to be again middle finger sliding in, except this time I've moved my ring finger down here. Then the next one, this is a little tricky. you're going to start with your middle finger and nothing else here on that first fret, and then slide in, and as you do, put your index finger there. Which makes the next one easier because you take this same shape and slide up a fret all at one time. So you're striking the string before you move it. That's called a slide. It's kind of obvious, right? But part of the slide, part of the beauty of a slide is you hit the note first before you strike the string again. So I'm only striking the string one time as I make that. The slide, the friction and the force of moving across that fret continues the note and then makes it a new note. So all right, I'm going to play it in time now. Haven't done that yet. Here's how it would go, assuming the intro beat. Boom, boom, gaga, boom, boom, gaga, boom, boom, gaga, boom, boom, gaga. I would recommend, though, as you're doing this, that you fill in some of those notes with the right hand just by playing some upbeats or downbeats to get an added little rhythm in there. Because if you're playing without another instrument, it kind of helps to keep the beat going. So it'd be repeat. And then you're into the verse. Right? That's all there is to it. The middle section has another little chord thing that you could learn, but it would have to be modified. It's definitely not in the key, and you'd have to just mess around with that. I would recommend just taking that as an opportunity to improv, which is a great thing to do on this instrument, because regardless of what you end up playing, it'll sound like it's in the song key, and people will love it. So mess around with all that. Let me know if you got questions. I know that was a lot of new information if you're used to watching the other videos, which you should subscribe to do. If you're used to watching those, I haven't covered as many lead lines in those, which I hope to do more in the future. Let me know what you think, and have a great day.